This is Seattle's castle, the Fairmont Olympic Hotel. Join me for 2 nights in Mother Nature's city, from fine dining inside a restored 1920s tea room to one of the most beautiful hotel lobbies in the country and spacious guest rooms overlooking the Puget Sound.
Yeah, I think this is going to do.
I will show you the absolute essential Seattle experience and some hidden gems along the way. The Olympic is one of America's most storied hotels, and it is the best way to experience the heart of the Pacific Northwest. And I'm getting there the exact same way travelers did on opening day over 100 years ago, by rail. And it all begins here in Vancouver, starting at Pacific Central Station, where I would take the Amtrak Cascades at the crack of dawn out of the station, and shortly after heading over the Fraser River. And if you are traveling between Vancouver and Seattle and the weather is cooperative, there is literally no better way to do it than by train. I mean, this train will hug the coastline, passing along the line's peaks, Mount Baker, and gliding through quiet, cute little beach towns, running past the Cascade Mountains and into the Olympic Ranges. I mean, it honestly feels like I'm committing a crime by cutting out any of the clips that I took, because every single second I have my eyes glued to the window. But 4.5 hours later, I would arrive in a rarely sun-soaked Seattle and pulling into the beautiful King Street Station, and I'm telling you, I will never get tired of arriving here by train. And following a short walk into downtown, I'd arrive at the Olympic.
Welcome to the Fairmont Olympic. Not bad at all.
And check out this lobby. I mean, we will 100% be revisiting it a bit later, but I would check in and I would head up to the 11th floor for my home for the next 2 nights in Seattle's castle. Holy moly. Definitely come back to that. Holy moly. God, this is going to be an unreal sunset view.
Yeah, I think this is going to do.
And I think this suite may actually be bigger than my apartment in Vancouver, by about 30 square feet, but who's counting? Anyway, this morning was a bit of an early one with having to catch my 7 a.m. train, so I would head downstairs to the George. And the George is the hotel's signature restaurant, and I mean, look at this place. It is absolutely incredible, and this was actually the original tea room when the hotel first opened in 1924, but today is a Pacific Northwest style brasserie, and named the George after the architect who designed the hotel, and it really shines and comes to life in that Seattle sunshine. Now, I started my lunch off with the burrata salad, accompanied with roasted baby beets and gremolata, and that burrata was so fresh and so creamy. Now, for mains, I went with the Alaskan halibut, served in a brown butter sous vide with blistered cherry tomatoes, artichokes, and bacon, and the Alaskan halibut was seared great, and that sauce was literally good enough to drink on its own. And for dessert, I went with the matcha martini, which is really more of a matcha tiramisu with layered biscuits, pastry cream, and a sesame white chocolate crisp. I mean, usually I think matcha kind of tastes like grass or cattle feed, but I was feeling adventurous, and I'm not gonna lie, this dessert was pretty fire. Now, later that night, I would make my way to the north end of downtown for one of Seattle's must-do experiences, the Space Needle.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Which opened in 1962 and today has the only rotating glass floor in the world.
Check! I'm looking down!
And take a look at this.
We're facing north here, so we can see Lake Union on the right. The Cascade Mountains are the mountain range that you can see over here. And then on this side of the water is the Olympic Mountain Range. And Mount Rainier was really visible earlier, but the last time I checked, there were clouds over it. Just keep your eye out, though, and it'll be to the right of the city skyline.
It's pretty hard to beat. But after that, I would head back to the hotel, where I'll see you in the morning. The story of the Olympic Hotel began in 1920, and the hotel was built around the original University of Washington, and following a partnership with the Seattle Chamber of Commerce in 1922, they would set out to bring a world-class hotel to the Pacific Northwest, and financed through a citywide bond drive yielding $2.8 million by the end of the week, and securing the start of the hotel. Construction began on April 1st, 1923, and only 7 months later, in November of that year, would complete. And the hotel would stand 12 stories tall, completing at a closing cost of $5.5 million, with the grand opening on December 6th, 1924. Now, the hotel got its name from a citywide contest that named the hotel, and after almost 4,000 entries, the Olympic was selected and named after the Olympic ranges that the hotel and my room face. The hotel would go into bankruptcy in 1931 and shuffle ownership a few times over the decades until August of 2003, when Fairmont Hotels took over and would then convert it to the Fairmont Olympic Hotel. And trust me, although she is dwarfed amid the countless high-rises surrounding it, the Olympic is one of Seattle's most beautiful structures and easily my favorite. I mean, it's literally why I wanted to do this video. But the Fairmont Olympic, downtown Seattle, all of this would not exist without the arrival of the Transcontinental Railway in 1893. So this behind me is the Seattle Union Station, which is literally right next door to the King Street Station, which serves Amtrak. The King Street Station was built by the Great Northern Railway, and then this was built by the Union Pacific as well as the Milwaukee Road. Now, this station hasn't operated any sleeper trains or really any trains outside of some light commuter rail in many, many years. What a beautiful station. What a gorgeous, time machine. The fact that places like this still stand, and I don't want to do it any disrespect because this is an absolute stunning piece of architecture, a stunning station, but it's almost like a Walmart New York Grand Central Station. It's kind of a shame that it doesn't operate sleeper trains anymore. And it's funny, I actually stumbled upon it accidentally. I was walking towards King Street Station. I saw the Union Station sign right next door, and I thought, it's interesting. I'll go walk in, poke my head in. Look at this. And from the trains that brought the people to the ships that built the city, the Olympic Bar pays tribute to all of it. So this is the lobby bar, and this is a brand new addition to the hotel. They gutted and they renovated the entire lobby, the entire restaurant areas back in 2020. This has to be hands down the most gorgeous lobby I've ever seen in my life. It literally looks like out of a movie scene in a downtown New York City hotel. And if you didn't know any better, you would swear the hotel has been like this since it opened in opening day in 1924. And I think the part that I find the coolest, the artwork on top pays tribute to the ships that literally built everything in Seattle. So for those that don't know, when the Great Northern Railway built North America's only privately funded transcontinental railway, they picked Seattle as the terminus city for it on the West Coast. And that was in 1893. And when the Klondike Gold Rush hit in 1896, all the prospectors throughout all the United States came by train to here in Seattle because it was the closest port to get up by ship to Alaska and the Klondike gold fields, where they would then go up to Alaska and try to find gold and strike it big. And that is why the ships brought prosperity, prospectors, and brought everything that pretty much built Seattle the way that it is today. And they pay tribute to it here, which I absolutely love. I just find it so fascinating. I mean, the bar itself is even shaped like a ship, rounded at the front and flat at the back, which I thought is such a cool touch. But what about the food? Well, tonight I started off with the chicken lollies and the Brussels sprouts. And trust me, those chicken lollipops present so well. But the real showstopper was honestly the Brussels sprouts. I mean, for $15, they give you pretty much an entire bucket of Brussels sprouts, fried and tossed in a beautiful hot honey sauce, and coupled with Serrano ham, shaved Parmesan. I mean, this literally might actually be the best value in all of Seattle. And keep in mind that the hotel was built around the original 1861 University of Washington campus. And the central wing is exactly that. The same hand-carved oak paneling and woodworking overlooking the lobby today exactly the way that it did when the hotel opened in 1924. And listen, even if you are not staying at the Olympic Hotel, you got to come down and just appreciate it. I mean, they truly don't make buildings or hotels like they used to. And the second I stepped foot inside back in December, I was absolutely obsessed. And today, whether it is the view of the Olympic mountain ranges outside of my room, the incredible craftsmanship, literally craftsmanship throughout the hotel. Seattle has so many beautiful buildings. They really do. but the Olympic Hotel to me truly is the crown jewel of the city. And although I was a little bit disappointed that Dana White was staying on my exact floor only 2 days before I showed up, kind of would have been cool to meet him. I don't know if it gets any better in Seattle than right here at the Olympic Hotel, or as I like to call it, Seattle's Castle. They literally just don't make them like they used to. It is so cool. And if you are staying here or really anywhere downtown and then flying out of SeaTac Airport, Seattle has the most expensive Uber rides in the entire United States. So if you take the Symphony Light Rail line, it is literally $3 to get from outside the Olympic Hotel to the airport compared to a $70 Uber. And you get a great view of the Seattle skyline on your way out of town. And I think I was literally at the check-in counter less than 45 minutes after walking out of the hotel. And this is a little secret that I did not find online. I actually was told by a local, so the more you know. But I'd love to know, have you stayed at the Olympic Hotel? Do you have a story about it? Or do you have a recommendation for me on my train ride with Amtrak from Seattle to New York coming up? Whatever it is, drop in the comment section below. And if you enjoy content like this on historic hotels, legendary train rides, steam engines, and everything in between, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video, because I do new videos just like this every single Sunday. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. I'll see you then.